What's up, YouTube? Timmy's here. With F1 coming out this week, I decided it was a good idea to do my top 10 favorite car racing movies. It could easily be sports, car racing, whatever. Because I want some pretty good ones. I'm not much of a sports guy, but I do love a good sport movie. And there are some really good car racing movies, in my opinion. So, here are my official top 10. Alright, number 10 is Gran Turismo. Now, of course, this is a recent one, directed by Neil Blomkamp, based on the technically based on the video game, but more inspired by the true story of Jen Martibro, who's a teen Gran Turismo player who beats the odds to become a real professional racer. And you got the likes of David Harbour, Orlando Bloom, John Hansu. It is a really decent, inspiring one. More better than Hanging Texas Being, because I remember when they first announced it, I'm like, it's kind of an odd film to make, but worked out perfectly. It's really entertaining. It's a really decent one worth giving a go. Alright, number 9 is another film based on a video game, and that is Need for Speed. So many people didn't really like this one, but I actually enjoyed this a little more than most people did. Need for Speed is awesome. Of course, if you guys don't know much about the story, it is based on the aforementioned video game, where framed in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Street racer Toby Marshall seeks revenge against the Leon, a secret high stakes race across the country here. You had Aaron Paul, Dominic Cooper, Imogen Poots. Dakota Johnson was in this, before she became very popular. You had Kid Cudi. Again, it did not really get great reviews or anything, and did not really do too well in the box office. But I actually had a fun time with it. Definitely was really entertaining. Was cool to watch. Aaron Paul was good in that. It's such a shame it didn't do well. I would love to have seen some more of this, but it is what it is, I guess. Alright, number 8, I'm going with Herby Fully Loaded. Now, I could have gone with the original, The Love Bug, with Dean Jones, which is a good one. I really quite enjoyed Herby Fully Loaded a tad bit more. Of course, this starred Lindsay Lohan as Maggie Payton, who's the youngest in the racing family, and discovers a personality-packed, self-aware, Beto Herby. And together they take the arrogant NASCAR champ Trip. Take on the NASCAR champ Trip Murphy here. You had a really decent cast members. You had Michael Keaton. You had Matt Dillon, Justin Long. It's a really decent one in my opinion. I always quite enjoy this a lot. I still always quite remember the song First with that Lindsay Lohan singing this. Of course, this was actually around time where Lindsay Lohan was in her Disney era, thanks to Freaking Friday, Confession of a Teenage Drama Queen, and this this is actually the last Disney movie Lindsay Lohan made until obviously Freaking Friday comes out this year. But yeah, this is a really decent one in my opinion. Alright. And maybe Freaking Friday, I don't know, comes out, does well. Maybe we could get a Herby Fully Loaded sequel. That could be pretty cool. But anyway. It's not like Herby Fully Loaded is as popular as Freaking Friday, but still. Anyway. Coming in at number 7 is Ford v Ferrari, about car designer Carroll Shelby and driver Ken Miles, who takes on a seemingly impossible task of building a Ford car here, and of course, try to beat Ferrari at the 1966 Le Mans here. And you, of course, had Christian Bale, Matt Dillon, John Bernthal, Tracy Letts as Henry Ford II. Ford v Ferrari, of course, was directed by James Mangold, who just gave us a complete unknown. I thought he did a really good job with this one. Really inspirational here. The chemistry between Christian Bale and Matt Damon was good. Really good film if you guys ever seen it. Alright, number 6 is Rush. Rush is, of course, based on the 1976 F1 rivalry between charismatic Brit James Hunt and Austrian Niki Lauda, played by Chris Hemsworth and Dana Brill. And it's a really decent one, worth giving a go. Of course, there was actually tragedy throughout, but Chris Hemsworth really played his part well. Olivia Wilde was terrific. Directed by Ron Howard. He did a great job with this. Really good film, worth giving a go. Alright. Number 5 is Tallator Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Of course, starring Will Ferrell, directed by Adam McKay, where Ricky Bobby, NASCAR's #1 driver, lives by the motto: if you ain't first, you're last here. And of course, you got Sacha Baron Cohen as John Garrard, who of course is the flamboyant French Formula One driver who dethrones him here. You had Amy Adams, Will Ferrell. I mean, I've always liked Ricky Bobby. It's definitely a really fun one. It definitely has some fun moments, some fun laughter. Really good film. You guys ever seen that one? All right. Number 4 is Grand Prix. This is a 1966 movie starring James Garner, Eva Marie Saint. And it's like an ensemble drama set in the F1 world, following 4 drivers who are season filled with danger, love, and ambitious. Grand Prix is a really decent one. James Garner was terrific. Yes, Montana was also in this. Directed by the great John Frankenheimer. It is a classic car race movie worth giving a go there. Alright. Number 3 is The Fast and the Furious. Of course, the one that started with the franchise. I mean, the Fast and Furious movies nowadays haven't really branched out into the car racing for quite some time. There's still car racing stuff in it, but it was always more about the car racing in the original. And the car race scenes always are really fun to watch. Definitely feels like a video game at times. I've always quite enjoyed the original Fast and Furious, directed by Rob Cohen, Vin Diesel, the late great Paul Walker, Michelle Rodriguez. I mean, it's just such a really fun one. Then obviously we will get tons of other sequels throughout. Where's the next one? Beyond me, but so alright. Number 2 is The Cannonball Run, featuring the likes of course, directed by Hal Needham, starring Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, Farrah Fawcett, Roger Moore, Jackie Chan. The list goes on and on. Where, of course, a group of racers take part in a legal cross-country road race known as the Cannonball Run, and it's a lot of fun. It definitely is a classic 80s style. Of course, Burt Reynolds coming off of Smokey and Bandits was great in this. It's a really entertaining one. It definitely has some fun laughs to it. Chemistry by the likes of Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise was all good in this. If you guys never seen the original Cannonball Run, you're missing out. It's an 80s classic there. Alright. And my number 1 pick is Days of Thunder. Of course, we are, pretty much Top Gun mixed with in the car racing scene. Directed by the late great Tony Scott, starring Tom Cruise, Robert Duvall, Nicole Kidman, Carrie Ellis. Of course, it's about like a young and talented stock rate car racer, Cole Tricker, who enters the world of NASCAR racing with the help of a legendary crew chief, Harry Hoggs. Of course, portrayed by Robert Duvall. And of course, it's pretty much like Top Gun on the racetrack. They also should do a sequel to that. Really interested to see how that's going to go. But Days of Thunder is such a good one. It's very inspirational, very entertaining to watch. I mean, this could easily have been set in the world of Top Gun, to be honest with you. This could easily have been like an unofficial Top Gun sequel. But it's obviously not. It's still a really good one, and really could see how, I mean, of course, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Really, like, the car race scenes are just excellent to watch. It is a good one, worth giving a go. But that's pretty much it there. Here is, of course, my quick rundown. Alright. 10, Gran Turismo. 9, Need for Speed. 8, Herby Fully Loaded. 7, Ford v Ferrari. 6, Rush. 5, Tallator Nights. 4, Grand Prix. 3, The Fast and the Furious. 2, Cannonball Run. And number 1, Days of Thunder. Now, there's other ones I could have added too. Let me call some other ones. Turbo, who remembers the snail movie with Ryan Reynolds? Biker Boys was a good one. Although that's more motorcycle racing, not really car racing. Driven with Stallone. Cars. Lee Mans with Steve McQueen. I mean, this is The World's Fastest Indian with Anthony Hopkins. I mean, he had some really good ones over the years. Oh, Red Line with I believe Eddie Griffin was in that one. Red Line. There's some really decent one worth giving a go. Anyway, let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite car racing movies of all time? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is